Today we're going to be talking about the gunpowder empires, who established their dominance over Asia through gunpowder. Mr. Hyman, isn't that obvious? Yes, but the empires were also able to utilize, innovate, and administrate ideology, leadership, and economics, and expand successfully in considerable extent in the early modern period. The fall of the colossal, unconquerable walls of Constantinople in 1453 under the Ottoman Mehmed II marked a new age in world history, the age of the gunpowder. Mehmed's son later would continue to expand his empire, but no longer would do as much justice as Suleiman the Magnificent. He spearheaded campaigns into Hungary as well as Safavid, Persia, and the Mulkan Egypt. Suleiman also reformed many aspects of the Ottoman administration, using Luma to simplify the law, create a meritocracy, and instituting protections for the people of the book, religious groups that were organized into communities or millets, with additional of religious tax. The millet system also allowed Jews and Christians to rule and live amongst themselves, which granted them religious rights and freedom to create harmony and coexistence in the multi-ethnic empire. Yet, despite the skilled leadership of the Ottomans, never were able to develop a system of succession. Oyagin de Busca, a famous diplomat to the Ottoman court, noted, "The sons of the Turkish sultans are most wretched position in the world, for as soon as one succeeds his father, the rest are doomed to certain death. The Turk can endure no rival to their home." Indeed, later rulers were weak, no thanks to the imprisonment in the golden cages. Successors of the Kais and the Sultan were imprisoned to the imperial harm, creating rulers who never received education, and in some circumstances only left the building after the Sultan died. To rule over such a large empire, the Ottomans created a new system of administration, the slave autocracy. Wait, the slaves had power? That's right, we commonly associate slavery with the Atlantic slave trade, but the enslavement of young Christian boys through the Desert Mire was not totally looked down upon. Even though it was religious tax, some families would voluntarily give their children to be recruited in order to get them a chance of a well-off job, while some Muslim families faked Christianity, recognizing the system as a path forward to life. The bureaucracy of the military system introduced the boys into Islam and the loyal only to the sultans. Using these forms meant that tribal clan disputes and the empire would kept our government. The boys would become the Jasmars and the elite military units. Smarter ones had a chance to join government administrations and rising up to even the position of Grand Vizier, the second most powerful person in the empire. But since they were still slaves, they were not allowed to children, eliminating the probability of the inheriting nobles. These administrators ruled a vast empire, half the size of Rome, but they were way more richer. Due to the spicy hot spice trade from the Indian Ocean, the Ottoman Empire, positioned especially after the conquest of the Mulkans, dominated in the spice trade. The Ottomans were content in enforcing tariffs and allowing others to do so trading. They signed trade deals. The reliance on the Silk Roads and spice trades meant the European expedition to the New World heavily hampered the empire's growth. As the new trade routes to the east opened up, the European Columbian Exchange also caused massive influx of silver. The influx meant the inflation of the Ottoman economy, which limited their expansion. For the Ottomans were known for the production of raw materials, which Europe used to cheaply produce manufactured goods for quickly over profit. The Ottomans failed to adapt to changing economic conditions, limiting the growth of their empire. On the other hand, the Ottomans would constantly wage war against the Safavid in Persia. By the year 1510, they conquered all of Iran under the rule of Shah Islam, who took control at the age of 14. They concentrated expanding their military when they conquered Iran. Shiism was a foreign concept to them, but since they dominantly were Sunni Muslims, unlike the Ottomans, the Safavid focused on enforcing conversation, spent a crap ton on campaign to convert Sunni people, sometimes by persuasion, force, and reduce the importance of the Hajj to Mecca and replaced it with a pilgrimage to the Safavid shrine, the Shitta shrine. The religious and political powers were intertwined into one. They also had a major educational establishment. The Safavid dynasty also focused on the Sunni pressure on its east from the Mongol Empire based in India. Babur, the first leader of the Mongol Empire, came to power in 1526. He was a good military strategist, a fierce fighter. He wanted his troops to battle in most of the time. Even though he was violent, he had a taste for music and art. He made a story and turned it into one of the greatest histories in India. In 1530, he died at the age of 40, due to a subtle illness. His grandson, Alvegaard, took over at the age of 13, the greatest leader in all history. A good military commander, he had personal courage and was a workaholic. Alvegaard built a military achievements that would end form the backbone of the Mongol Empire. He carried out reforms and even invented his own universalistic religion. His armies extended in the empire because he had conquests through the north and central India. He conquered many of his people through loyalty. Alvegaard was able to do this through the spread of gunpowder. They learned the secret to making cannons from wrought iron from the Portuguese. Making the weapons from wrought iron reduced their cost while improving the weapons. They soon learned that light artillery weapons would be easier to carry in battle than lugging around cannons. They had matlocks, brass, bronze guns, and the Mongols even had muskets. While making their firearms influenced many other empires. From the example, they learned how to make cannons from the Portuguese. Even though they faced many people, they had the best firearms. They could defeat anybody. He had a system called Manasbarya. So there were officials called Manasbars. What happened is the emperors would give the officials land, and in exchange the officials would provide cavalry. Already by this time of the Alvegaard, cannons and muskets were already being used in the military. He proposed a policy of reconciliation and cooperation with the Hindu prince and the majority of the Hindu population. He abolished the head tax on the unbelievers of the Hindus religion, and the tax was called the jizya. And all the introduction of gunpowder allowed the empires to expand to impressive sizes. They were not only able to be defined by the usage of gunpowder, the new administrative systems and economic structures would definitely defy the political landscape of today. These allegiances are still present today. Which system of administration do you believe in the best? What would you say is these empires' success?